It sounded like some kind of machine. I heard swirling noises, humming, bleeps, pops. September 4th, 1964. 28-year-old Donald Schrum and his friends were bow hunting at Cisco Grove, Placer County, California. Before very long, the avid hunter would encounter something with the unknown. An encounter that would make this the most memorable hunting trip of his entire life. During that afternoon of hunting, Schrum had become separated from the rest of his group. With nightfall fast approaching, he decided to sleep away the rest of the night in a tree for safety. What is this guy, a squirrel? His attention was soon drawn, however, to the sight of a white light which was zigzagging through the trees at low altitude. At first, he thought it was a helicopter, so Schrum jumped down from the safety of his tree. He grabbed a flare and tried to attract the light to himself. He thought maybe his friends had launched some sort of rescue party in order to try and locate their missing companion. Finally, the white light turned in his direction, coming to a full stop some 50 yards away from his tree. He soon discovered that it wasn't a helicopter at all, but rather a strange-looking object, different from anything he had ever seen before. Now frightened, he climbed back up into the safety of the tree. After a short period of time, he was shocked to see that 3 beings were slowly approaching him. 2 of them seemed to be a more humanoid type of being, while the third seemed almost robot-like. Schrum's shock became utter panic as the 3 beings began to shake the tree in an attempt to dislodge him. He vividly recalled a white vapor being shot from the robot's mouth, which rendered him unconscious. When he came to, he was nauseous, but that's when he said he got the idea to light some matches and start throwing them at the beings, causing them to back away from the tree momentarily. Unfortunately, this only bought him a little bit of time, and soon the assault continued. Schrum managed to load and shoot an arrow at one of the invaders, hitting the robot. The direct hit caused a spark to fly, indicating that the arrow had hit a metallic surface. He managed to shoot off 2 more arrows at the beings, each time causing the group to scatter. Soon, a second robot joined the group, and again Schrum was rendered unconscious by the strange, white vapor coming from the entity's mouth. When he awoke again, the 2 humanoid beings were now climbing up towards him. He managed to thwart off the attack by throwing different objects at them and shaking his own tree. This scenario continued on and off for most of the night. As dawn approached, more beings arrived, and this time a large volume of smoke caused him to black out completely. When he awoke, he was barely hanging onto the tree by his belt. The aliens were finally gone, and Schrum was soon rescued and reunited with the other hunters. Corroborating at least part of his story, one of the other men who had also become lost had seen the UFO. What exactly were these humanoid-like creatures that Schrum encountered that fearful night in California? Unfortunately, Donald was the only one to witness these otherworldly beings. I was 19 years old, living in Downey, Nebraska, when one night something scary happened to me. The year was 1984, and this happened right before Halloween. My parents had flown out to California that morning and were coming back in 2 days' time. They were going to pay a visit to some old friends, so they left me in the house alone. They called me when they arrived at their friends to check in on me and the house. Our home was located a few miles out of town in a secluded area with rolling hills. There was a couple other houses scattered about here and there, but you couldn't see them at night. I'm an only child, and I was used to being on my own. I remember it was about 9 p.m. I was feeling tired and decided to go to bed. I started reading a book, something that would always put me to sleep quickly. Soon I was getting drowsy, so I put the book away and turned off the light. I don't remember how long I'd been asleep when I was awakened by a sound coming from outside. My bedroom window looked out over the front yard, so I raised myself up and parted the curtains. I didn't see anything at first, but then I heard the front door swing open. I was scared. No, I was terrified. Thoughts of me not locking the front door raced through my mind. I slid back down and covered myself completely with my blankets. I heard a sound coming down the hallway towards my bedroom. This was weird. It sounded like some kind of machine. I heard swirling noises, humming, bleeps, pops. It was like it was rewinding. That's the closest thing I can say to describe it. And that's when my bedroom door opened and those sounds became louder. It was in my room. I didn't dare make a move. I lay there, paralyzed with fear. It came right up to me. The sounds were on the other side of the blankets. I felt something poking my leg. Let me tell you, right then and there, I thought I was gonna scream, but I couldn't. I couldn't function. Then, as quickly as it came, it left my room, went back down the hallway, and out the front door. I even heard the front door close, like it closed the door behind itself. That seemed rather polite for a strange mechanical alien being. I stayed in that laying position for an hour or so under my blankets because I was not sure if it was over. I listened, but I heard nothing. Then the phone rang, which made my heart jump. The phone was in the living room, and I let it keep ringing until it stopped. I was so scared, but it started to ring again, and this time I got up, with some effort. I cautiously made my way to the living room and answered it. It was my mother. Call it intuition, but she knew something had happened. I was so relieved to hear her voice, I started crying. I told her what happened, which made her so upset she started to cry herself. They ended up cutting their visit short and booked the next flight available home. In the meantime, my mother called one of our neighbors and had them pick me up and stay with them until she and my father got home. I've never been so scared in my life than I was that night. It was like R2-D2 had paid me a visit. Alright, here's one more for you. It's short and kinda sweet. It's called I Saw an Unidentified Autonomous Robot. The year's 2017, Southern Jersey. I was doing about 40 on the 206 and getting close to Hamilton. It was 8 p.m., right near Halloween, and I decided to make a little stop, a little past Shaman, to grab some zesty Doritos. Bullshit. I went, because there was some weird-ass droid walking through the trees. This is where the story gets weird. It wasn't the Jersey Devil. It looked like prime military hardware, but I couldn't see any markers on it, and no one was around either. It was straight out of Neuromancer, or some shit. It had blue lights on it and everything. It was pretty damn dark, and it wasn't in the light, but it did look super impressive. It looked way too good to be some high schooler's robotics project. After it looked at me, I think it walked away. But maybe it had tracks, so maybe it rolled away. I don't know. Either way, I bolted the fuck out of there so fast. Might have been military. Hey guys, Scary Stories here. What did you think of those ones? 3 mysterious encounters with mechanical beings. Definitely, none of these people were under the influence of anything, I'm sure. But yeah, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you disliked it, give it a dislike. Maybe say hi down below. If you have an idea for a video or a story you'd like to share, feel free to send it to me through my email, scarystories@2am@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'll cut it there for now. I hope you're taking care of yourself and treating yourself well. You really do deserve it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. I started reading a book. Something that would always put me to sleep.